David Duke, top of the arc. Here's Pitt, guarded by Gillespie. Steps back, spins, fires! Woo! Pitt dance!
They get another crack. They'll go to their senior. And he lays it in. Two big buckets by Alpha Diallo.
David Duke, down by 3. 5 seconds. Reeves for the tie. He got it!
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Dish, episode 9. It is April 9th, 2020. Robbie, how are you doing?
All things considered, Ben, this has probably been like my best week yet of quarantine stage. I feel like I'm really settling in, and there's the optimism for this ending pretty soon. I'm all-time high.
There you go. That's how we like to see it. There you go. Very good.
How have you been?
Pretty good. Work's getting slower and slower. I don't know what's going on with that. Classes are dropping off every once in a while, but I think next week I'm going to be swamped, so I shouldn't be saying that. But yeah, no, we're doing good. Staying busy, and it turns out we have some actual sports news this week, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to talk about ourselves for a half hour. We can talk about stuff that our viewers actually want to hear. So
yeah, exactly. All right.
You want to start us off with some baseball? I mean, that was probably the biggest news, or the first news that came out, right?
Yeah. It's definitely huge news. It's some controversy behind it, actually, believe it or not. I probably can't believe it because everyone debates everything nowadays.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it was one of the first things announced, and they were the first league to go ahead. I don't know. I don't think we talked about it last show. I think it happened more recently, but there was a conference call with all the major sports with President Trump.
Yep.
Which was mainly just like talking about compensation and stuff like that, I think. But that kind of got everything going. And now there's been a proposal. There's been a lot of other fake proposals before, but this one seems to be the most official so far, the most official possibility that could happen to baseball. Baseball could be coming back as early as May or as late as August or even later. No one really knows. But this proposal says May.
Okay, I like the sound of that a lot more than I like the sound of August.
Yeah, so this proposal's in May, like mid-May or early May. There's really no dates being thrown around except the month of May.
Okay.
So, except we're not going to be playing at our home stadiums. Everyone's going to be in a Biodome in Arizona. So they can condense the fields a lot, get a lot of domes. They're going to be the players will be isolated from all their families and everything. The families can't come with them. So it's basically just going to be all the team and limited staff, just 30 of them scattered around Arizona in these biodomes. They're all going to be tested to make sure only the ones that don't test positive for the coronavirus are going to be let in. And they're just going to play games in a biodome, they're calling it. That's the proposal. And
That is interesting.
It gets a lot more interesting. But what do you think about that right off the bat?
So, I mean, initially it sounds great. Obviously, the quicker that they can get started, the better. Because, I mean, if they could start in May, they'd only be a month behind. That's doable.
Yeah, a month, about 2 months. About 2 months behind.
Well, wouldn't they start? Oh, they wouldn't start like in early May? Because isn't opening day like early April? So
this year it was supposed to be March 26th. So
okay.
It would probably be like
weeks.
a month. Probably be like a month and a half behind schedule. But in reality, they would be starting later than May if this does happen.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, initially, obviously, it sounds really good. Get baseball back. I just don't know how feasible it. I mean, it seems very difficult to be able to pull that off.
Well, it's definitely one of the more possible options. There's already facilities in place they could use. It's the willingness of the players, and then what it comes down to, which I guess I'll just talk about now. I had it on later, but we'll talk about now is the TV. Everything on TV. Are these stations going to want to? Are they going to be? First of all, are they going to be allowed there? because then they're going to be stuck there too. So if you're just broadcasting raw baseball, no announcers, or only like one or two announcers for, maybe not every game will have an announcer or stuff, is a TV station going to sign off on that? I mean, are people going to want to sit down and just watch baseball with no audio, or the only audio being the players? So that's a problem that you could run into.
That one seems. I mean, just there's a lot of what ifs that they would have to try and figure out. Obviously, that being one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the new test, which would be, I don't know, 5-10 minutes is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be huge. Huge for them, because they could test people, like you said.
Right. So there's that. That is one of the concerns that a lot of people brought up. Obviously, the huge concern is that a lot of players don't want to be away from their families for, I mean, normally, you're away from your family, but they're either sometimes they'll go on the road with you, or they have an apartment in the city you play in. In this case, you're just isolated without anyone in your family. So there was one player on the Oakland Athletics, I believe, Brian Anderson, I think. He was very open about not liking this idea at all, because, he has kids and his wife, and he was already, not with them in spring training, and now he's back with them, and now he just has to leave like newborns at home for like 3-4 months without seeing them at all. So he's not too crazy about that. But then, of course, there's other guys in the league, the young guys, they're like, yeah, baseball, we're going to play. I don't have anything waiting for me at home, just, my parents, but I've seen them for 20-something years. And there's also the guys that are like, well, yeah, we need to play. I need my paycheck because, I've been in the minor leagues for who knows how long, making nothing. Yeah. So there's that. So there's controversy on that, whether the players or anyone even wants to do it. So it's interesting if all that happens. But if it does happen, and, this is one of the more feasible, one of the more possible options that they have explored, and one of the most real possibilities of happening, it has some interesting things that would go along with it. Obviously, being in the Biodome is one of them, and having, everyone in the same area. They talked about, maybe just some fans have brought it up, for even like Jeff Passan or someone just jokingly, maybe we'll have an MLB reality show or something like that. But the things that have been stated in the proposal. So first off, there will be an electronic strike zone. So that's a definite if it happens. The umpire will stand far away, so you still have an umpire, but it's electronic strike zone to limit how close he is to the players. So there's that. There's
what do you think of that? I mean, before we even dig any deeper, what do you think of that?
That, I don't see what the problem is. I'm not a fan of electronic strike zone. I think the human element of umpires is what makes baseball really great. It makes it interesting. You form relationships with umpires if you're a pitcher or a catcher, and you know how to work in your advantage. So there's that. And then I don't see how this prevents anything. I mean, if everyone's getting tested, no one has it, they're all in the same place. Does it really matter if, the batter and the catcher are already, a couple inches away from each other? Does it really matter if the umpire's there too?
Yeah, so that's all right. I'm glad that we agree on that, because that seems, I agree with both things you said. One, obviously the thought, ever since like the TVs have had the little strike zone like box, there's been like rumors of, or I guess debate of whether there should be just a automated strike zone anyway.
So you bring up the box. There's actually a lot of I used to be a catcher, obviously.
Yep.
There's in the catching Twitter, there's always been a ton of controversy about that strike zone you see on the TV, because it's not the true strike zone. It's true strike zone, as they say. It's just, a box, but it doesn't change for whoever's up there.
Yep.
So there's that. This electronic strike zone would probably adjust, I think. I don't know exactly, but there's that. So that's always been a problem anyway.
Yeah, and then the second layer to that about, I don't think that, come on, you're telling me that having the umpire right there really is going to put someone that much more at risk of getting sick? Like, that seems a little ridiculous.
No, and you're going to be tagging guys out. You're going to be, doing a bunch of stuff. You're touching the same ball for the most part.
The dugout is, those guys are all going to be
I'm glad you said that.
The locker room. I mean, it's just
this is great. No, this is great. This is the best part. I was gonna save it for last, but this you already said it, so I had to say it. Instead of dugouts, they're gonna have the player. It's an empty stadium with no fans. They're gonna have the players sit in the stands 6 feet apart.
I quit. I'm out. Don't do it.
Imagine
if that happens.
Imagine we got up next, batting second, the center fielder. Mookie Betts, he runs down the stairs.
So, like, you're telling me that someone can, like, go up there, strike out on 3 pitches, and just walk up to, like, the top corner of the stadium and sit down?
Yeah, they have to go back to the stands. They sit in the stands. If they're not playing, if they're on the bench, they're just literally just like a fan.
I mean, at first, I don't know, I kind of just, it's such a bad idea. It's a good idea.
It's funny, though. It's
so bad
entertaining.
But it would be.
Talking about pace of play, though, everyone thinks baseball needs to be sped up. They'd have to be, like,
oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
That is literally, I'm shocked.
That's a real thing they talked about, and that's one of the things that was ironed out in the proposal.
It's shocking.
That's hilarious.
Shocking, but you know what? I give them.
You're gonna be like, you're sliding into each other and everything. Like, you're already touching them. Does it make? I don't know. I mean, it's the effort to stay safe and 6 feet apart. So there's that, but it's hilarious, and I can't see that happening. So there's that, and then to go along with keeping everything apart, there's no mound visits allowed.
All right, we should cut those out anyway, or cut them down. I know they already
are
limited.
They're limited now. They have 6 a game, I think, something like that. And the only catcher that has ever had a problem with the limit is Gary Sanchez, because he's always on a different planet when it comes to calling a game. So there is that. A big thing. This, I don't know. I guess it makes sense since they want to have close to 162 game season. Instead of 9-inning games, they're going to play 7-inning doubleheaders every day.
You must hate that. You must. I see. That doesn't bug me as much because
I don't.
7 innings is still a lot, but I
don't mind that. That's just high school baseball right there.
Right. No, I mean that's pretty much even college. You go to 9, right? They
college
go to 9 at college.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, I mean, all growing up, you never played 9 innings.
That's not a huge deal. They'd want to get as many games as possible in, because if the season does count, another thing they've talked about is if this season would count at all, or if they're just going to play for fun or whatever. No one's going to credit, let's say, the Yankees go out and win, they have a 60-game regular season and they win a World Series. No one's going to say, that's a real World Series. So they want to have it as close to a full season as possible. So I understand that. That's not a big problem. This is awesome. This they should do in regular season no matter what, but I know why they don't. Mic'd up players on the field.
Yeah, so tell, like, do you know why there's no correlation between, there's nothing that would lead them to mic these guys up just because of the virus or just because they're all playing in the same area in Arizona.
Well, I think the idea is, it's going to be not traditional baseball in the sense, so you want to lighten it up a little bit. It was a huge hit in spring training when we had spring training a month ago.
I mean, we should make that traditional. Like, that should just be a thing.
They do it in the All-Star game. They do it in spring training, and the fans love it, especially with, the Cubs and guys like that who have great personalities. Yep. So they've talked about it in a regular season, and, they do the on-field interviews with the manager and stuff, but that's not the players. But the problem is that these guys, they're more relaxed, and a lot of the guys that have solidified spots don't really care about spring training that much. A lot of them think it's overdrawn and just, half of it's a waste of time. So they're more relaxed. They're not focusing. It's not a must-win game at all. I mean, you can lose out in a spring training season and it means absolutely nothing. So they're not doing their normal routines all the time, so they don't mind. But then you get in game mode, you have to worry about filtering what you say. You're going to ruin you talking is boring. A lot of these guys are talking to each other. For some guys, it wouldn't change anything. For other guys, it would be a complete disaster if they had to talk during an actual game.
Yeah, So I guess what I think is obviously I want it, you want it as a fan, but I could see from the player's point of view where it's like,
yeah,
I know in golf, they got mics off every single green on every tee box, and they're picking up stuff, and I know a lot of the guys don't love it because they pick up stuff that isn't great. You say it in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's why the players feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, you saw even in spring training, it was a joke, obviously, but I remember on the Red Sox Instagram story, Mitch Moreland was mic'd up. And he walks over to the guys who was like, "Yeah, everyone mic'd up. You better watch out what you say." And then he's standing alone in the outfield. When everyone's like during VP, everyone's shouting, "Yeah, this is what happens when you're mic'd up. Everyone stays away from you so they can talk." And then there's been instances. Walker Buehler's, he's a pitcher for the Dodgers. His new nickname as of like 2 seasons ago was Walker effing Buehler because there's been multiple occasions where there's just a mic around doing an interview and he walks by and he goes, "Oh, yeah," or something like that. So, there's that. Everyone wants to stay loose, and you can't. A lot of TV stations wouldn't be on board if it was, not safe for work type of stuff.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's awesome no matter what. I love the aspect of it, especially if they had no filter, which maybe in this setting they wouldn't. But I don't know.
No, I'm gonna give the MLB a lot of credit. I know that both of us are pretty harsh on them most of the time, at least the league office.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no,
I'll give them credit. I think for the most part in this proposal, I think they actually did pretty well under these circumstances.
Under these circumstances, yeah. I think there's a lot of, if you want to wait even longer and just, throw the season away, there's a lot of better ways, but in trying to get close to a full season and have full participation, this is probably the best plan they're going to come up with.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I saw this on Twitter. And let's just say the season doesn't count anyway. This year, they're just going to play for fun no matter what. How do you contracts at this point don't matter. We have all 30 teams playing, players in a pool, and they have a fantasy draft and draft teams just for this
okay, so it's 3 months. you just restructure the league for these 3 months.
Yeah.
And essentially guys I kind of like that idea.
That'd be awesome. It's literally like you're playing MLB The Show with your friends or any video game like that.
So the one thing that I would say there is I would go back to, I believe I might have been 2 or 3 weeks ago when they came out with the proposal of just playing against your division. I think I'd rather that. Give me any.
Yeah.
In my opinion, even if they play 50 games and then playoffs, that's enough to count as a season for me. That's enough.
If it was like that, but after you play, who knows how many years of 162 games, that alters everything. You're going to have pitchers throwing 5 games at most instead of.
No, I know. And then everybody's – I hear that.
Because let's relate it to high school baseball really quick. You have – in high school, we had 6 pitchers probably, but we had our number 1 guy and our number 2 guy, and then we had 2 guys that could be the 3 guy. So – you have 2 to 3 games a week, mostly 2 games a week. So the 1 guy goes, the 2 guy goes. The next week it's the 1 and 2 guy again. And that works because you only play 20 games. And if you need to, you have that 3rd or 4th guy that's pretty, he could work, he could not. So that works. But in a situation where you have 5 starting pitchers who normally all make, 30 to 35 starts, then if you're throwing around the money you are for – then it's these guys are not really contributing that much. You got 5 guys who have to pitch because you're paying them each $10 million.
But then again, that goes to you got if you do the 7-inning games, what does I assume that every team will be a little different, every manager and how he wants to handle that. Does he want his starting pitcher to try and go 7, or is he just give me 4 good innings, 3 good innings, and then I might go to my 10.
I don't know. That's probably. I mean, it would be 7-inning doubleheaders, so that's a 14-inning day. So you probably want your starting pitcher to go as long as possible. I think in this scenario, instead of the normal 26-man roster, they just have expanded rosters and have 30 or 40 guys. I forget what they changed it to. It used to be a 40-man roster in September. Yep. I think they changed it to 30. So they would probably just have a bunch of guys and load it up with pitchers. So that's what I would assume. But I don't know. It's interesting. I think at this point, if there is going to be baseball, they should just do a season that doesn't count at all and just have fun with it. I mean, there was talks. I know the NBA, and we're going to get onto that, has their horse tournament. The MLB said maybe we'll do a couple home run derbies, pitcher home run derby, something like that. So I would love if me and my friend were actually just talking about it yesterday. What if, every week we just had a different competition? It's the home run derby this week. Next week, the NBA has a skills competition in the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. What if we did stuff like that? There's a place in Cooperstown, New York, Cooperstown Dreams Park. All the AAU teams go there. They kind of do skills competitions. Yep. You have obviously the home run derby. They have around the horn. So, when there's a strikeout and they throw it around to everyone in the field, they do whoever that can do that the quickest. So that's a competition right there. You have accuracy from the outfield. Whoever has the, could throw the hardest, knock down targets. There's a ton of stuff they can do. So I think that would be cool if we just did that for a little bit, and maybe they just get together and I don't know, whoever wants to play plays.
No, I mean it is tough, obviously, to try and keep pushing some type of content and entertainment out there while you literally can't have your guys even with each other. So I mean, well, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the NBA, but I mean, do you want to about the NBA horse that you just mentioned?
Yeah, let's get into that. I think.
All right. So
last thought on the MLB. Obviously, I want baseball back. I just don't know if it's in that capacity because you got to think of the players too.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think I don't know. It's a tough situation.
At this point, I'll take any sport at any time.
I know. The one thing that I'll say about the MLB is the time. I think that every other league has better time. It's better time for every other league. The NBA, if they have to finish late, they finish late. Exactly. They're going to finish the season. Same with the NHL. And then the NFL should be unaffected. The MLB, they're going to get hit hard. And they have the most games, too, which hurts.
Right.
But yeah, that's the one sport that, I don't know. You say one thing, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. And then if you counter that point, I'm like, well, that sounds good too. I don't know.
You just go back and forth. You don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. There's always an argument for it. So there's going to have to be some sort of compromise or just wait till next year, unfortunately. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, right, let's move on. I don't want to think about it anymore. Let's move on to NBA.
All right. So, the NBA. The NBA, they're, I mean, obviously in the same boat as the MLB. They got nothing going on right now. So they've floated – I don't even know. They've floated. I know Adam Silver wants to be one of the first leagues to start back up again. He said,
because very forward-thinking commissioner.
Yep. And so the NBA even more than the MLB, because actually more than any league, because they have so few guys. It's 13 guys. You got to test 13 players. And really, I don't know, 20 staff members, and you roll with that. You roll with 30 tests for every game. If this new test is legit, the NBA could be the first one to come back just because they wouldn't need as many tests as the other leagues. They could test and then play, no fans. Should be able to finish the season. But, there hasn't been any, real news on proposals of when they're going to get back or whatnot. All he said is April's out, which was pretty obvious.
Right.
But so what they have done is so they have the 2K tournament, which did we talk? I think we mentioned that.
I don't know if we've talked about it a lot, but I know all these guys are playing video games on streams and stuff.
Yeah,
but the 2K tournament, is that on live television?
Yeah, it is. It's on ESPN.
Because I know Madden is on TV with a couple of guys on ESPN too.
Yeah, so they got like, and they got some big names. KD, I mean, he got bounced in the first round, but they got Trae Young. He won by 40. So I mean, that doesn't really. I mean, I don't love that. That's whatever.
That doesn't appeal to me. My cousin's watching it like every day.
Really?
Like, they're not like, I've turned it on. I've only watched it for a couple of minutes, but they're not even talking about their trash talk is like, they have to keep it TV appropriate. So it's not really, they're not really trash talking, which doesn't make it that funny. And they're not even talking about the game they're playing, really. They're talking about random things.
No, I agree. It's
like
not
they forget they're not TV personalities, all of them. They forget what they're there for. They're just playing it like they would at their house.
Right. So that's not really up my alley. But what we're gonna talk about, the game of horse that you which essentially, I mean, I assume that everybody knows what horse is, but
yeah,
I played it out in the driveway last night with my brother. Like, it's just you play out in the driveway growing up. And the NBA is gonna do a virtual horse. So I mean, obviously, all these guys got gyms or flat driveways with hoops at wherever they are. And so they're gonna do it on ESPN. It starts on Sunday. They have 6 NBA. No, not 6.
Oh, it's already ready to go.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so these are let me read you the names of the people who are in it. So the NBA players are Zach LaVine, who I believe was an All-Star, good player. Chris Paul, Hall of Famer. Still very good all-star this year. Mike Conley, who's been an all-star in the past, still very good point guard. Trae Young, who is probably one of the best young players in the league, if not the best. Paul Pierce, future Hall of Famer, Celtics legend. Chauncey Billups, NBA legend, future maybe Hall of Famer, maybe not. I don't know. Probably not. But really good. Tamika Catchings. So then those are 6, and there's 2 girls. Tamika Catchings, WNBA. She might be the best woman ever.
Yeah.
And then Allie Quigley. I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who Allie Quigley is.
I feel proud of myself because there's 7 people, right?
There's 8.
There's 8.
Yeah.
I knew 6 of 8, so that's good for me.
That's pretty good. Yeah, and I knew 7 of 8 in basketball, Chunky. I don't know why Allie Quigley is in this, but I hope she loses in the first round. But yeah, so it's on ESPN, and I like the thought of it. I might tune in. Really, the things that I've been watching consist of Dave Portnoy, and more Dave Portnoy.
yeah, definitely. Barstool is putting out good content. They're doing a lot of new things, which is cool. There's some of the entertainment that is lacking.
We need some of the creativity that they have at Barstool.
You need to
push to like the NBA, the
which
MLB.
They're working on with this horse. So
yeah,
I don't know how exactly it's going to work. Are they going to literally just play like you would in your backyard?
Yeah. So what it is though, so the first round is on Sunday, and it's pretty much gonna be like that. What I'm assuming is the guy will watches. Right. So the first game is Trae Young versus Chauncey Billups. So I'll just use them as an example. So we'll say,
so Chauncey, it's like a tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be all of them together.
No, they're doing it So 1v1, and then, so let's say that Chauncey is the first shot. I'm assuming that Trae will be like watching it,
right?
And then if Chauncey makes it, then Trae will have to shoot it, like from the same, ideally the same spot is what you would do in horse. But that's the one thing is like I don't know how, because everybody's setup's going to be a little different. So like I saw Trae Young tweet a lot of half court shots coming. So if he makes a half-court shot, what if someone else's court doesn't go all the way to back to half court? Like, then what?
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. I'm assuming all these guys have full courts or close to it in their houses, though.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited. I mean,
It's something.
Right.
It's interesting. I mean, this is something that I would watch in the regular season.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good idea, and they did a really good job getting big names, and a wide variety of names. So like in terms of Paul Pierce, that will draw a lot of guys
Yeah.
I guess guys who are like 35 to 40, even older than that. And then a new guy like Trae Young, every 10-year-old in America is going to be watching Trae Young.
Exactly.
And then they have a couple women players, so I feel like they actually did a pretty good job. I don't know. The proposal sounds good. I guess we'll review it. Review it on the next show to see if it was as good as advertised.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. I think it's right up their alley and things to do. If they were together, I was thinking they could do knockout, but I didn't realize this was going to be virtual, which makes more sense. But imagine an NBA knockout game. That'd be pretty interesting.
Oh, that would be unreal. That'd be
fun.
That would be so good. I mean, oh, that'd be great because
especially Trae would be banging, dunking it, half court shots, all that.
That'd be good. That'd be real good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all we got for NBA, and I guess not even really NBA, but more just sports entertainment going on.
But I mean that's a step in the right direction. They're thinking of something they can do because they know the season can't start regularly soon.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
good for them.
My hope is a month from now I can watch the Celtics play on TV. That's my hope.
All right. Well, we hope that happens.
Now, I know there won't be fans. I know that. I know fans are just so far out of the equation. But that's my hope. Mr. Silver has not ruled it out yet, so
LeBron might sit out without fans.
Yeah, there's no way at this point. Like he's
gonna play now.
He was too uneducated at the time to like know how big a deal.
Bad take by LeBron when he first said that.
Yeah, I guess he just didn't know how. I mean, like many of us, he didn't know what this whole thing would turn into. But yeah, I mean, so speaking of schedule restructuring and coming and essentially coming out with a schedule and a plan going forward. The first league to do that was a PGA Tour.
Yeah,
came out on I think Monday or Tuesday this week.
I don't know. Whenever it came out, it got a lot of people very excited.
Yeah. So as an avid golf fan, I could not be more excited for August, September, and November. Like that 3-month stretch is I don't know if I'll even watch an NFL game now. I love the NFL.
Yeah. At first, I sent it to you, and I was like, "Oh, you got to wait a long time, man." But then I didn't even think about it. Everything's back to back. It's like all this action all at once.
Yeah. So there's kind of a lot of layers to this. So first, the PGA Championship, which is a major, August 6th to 9th. And then the U.S. Open. Well, so after that is going to be the playoffs, which at the end of the playoff, it's like a 3-week playoff and then a final. And at the final, there is a $15 million pot to the winner. So it's a huge. So those 3 weeks are huge, and then you have the U.S. Open after that, and then the week after that is the Ryder Cup, which is the big U.S. versus Europe, and then 2 weeks after that is the Masters at Augusta. So
jam-packed.
The golf world is going to have a big tournament every single week for like 9 weeks, 7-8 weeks, like
that's
unbelievable. Awesome. But yeah, so the one thing that I'll say is obviously I like it. They couldn't reschedule anything really. You don't want to put one of these big tournaments, say, in June and then have to move it back again because it's just not feasible. But I think I gotta tip my cap to. So there's 3 parties that had to come together to do this. So the PGA Championship is like its own separate entity that's run by the PGA of America, and the PGA Tour runs runs like your weekly event, that just your normal tournament, not the majors. Right. And then the U.S. Open is run by the USGA, and then the Masters is run by the Augusta National, the members of Augusta National and their board. So there were four like little separate entities that came together to put together a real good product. So to the golfing community, well done.
That's a great job for them. And even if, unfortunately things would have to get moved back, I don't see why. They already put everything so close together. They can just move everything back a week or however long, and everything should stay pretty much the same. And so
the one thing that I guess Georgia, which is like when we think Georgia, we think warm weather, but it's not always warm weather.
Right.
Into like December, that might be out. They might not be able to do that. And then the Ryder Cup, which is in like November, that's in Wisconsin. So you go any later than what you got, you're getting in danger there. But aside from that, you're right. They should be good. Even if they do have to move it back, like you said, they could definitely do that.
Yeah, no, that's great news for the golf community. And
really is.
What we haven't even really considered, I actually heard ESPN, what's his name? Scott Van Pelt, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is great. He was talking about, he goes, well, if sports do come back, it's going to be terrible for us. I mean, there's going to be something huge that happens and everything is going to be at the same time. So if you're a baseball fan, you're not going to be watching football. And, same goes for any sport you want to plug in. So something, there could be a perfect game and, a huge, like comeback win, massive performance by a quarterback or something. And you won't hear about one, you won't hear about the other because there's not enough news coverage to cover everything. If there's these, there's the four major sports everyone says, and then obviously you got the golf and there's going to be soccer and tennis going on. I mean, there's all this stuff going on at once. You're not going to be able to cover everything.
Right. Like I couldn't tell you the last time that I missed a Pats game, but like with that being said, I couldn't tell you the last time I missed the Sunday of a major championship.
Yeah.
What, now I'm going to have to pick? Are you kidding me?
Right.
I guess it's a good problem to have, though.
It's good. It's good because, there's going to be so many options. Maybe it will bring in more revenue. Maybe it'll bring in less revenue. I don't really know yet. But, I mean, these sportscasters and guys who have the talk shows and everything are going to go from literally no news to more news than they can handle, which is just funny to think about.
Which is good. At least I won't have to watch ESPN talk about the same old crap that they've been going on for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, ESPN is definitely a little tough to watch right now.
Yeah, this week they're playing some reruns of the Masters though, so maybe today they're playing the one that Bubba Watson won. Like anyone wants to watch that. You kidding me?
They're running out of watchable reruns too. There's only so many exciting games you can put on TV.
I know it.
But
yeah, that's the PGA Tour. That's I guess PGA Tour and I guess just the whole golf schedule looking ahead.
So at this point, I mean, NFL seems to be thinking they're ineffective. And the NHL hasn't said anything yet, I don't think. So
yeah, I haven't seen much.
But three sports have stepped up and said something.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some. Hopefully, over the next week. But I'm hoping by our next podcast we have some more clarity on when the NBA will be back, and then the NBA, I guess the MLB. They'll probably have to decide whether the Arizona is going to be a feasible option for him. So hopefully we get some clarity on those. But I mean, aside from that, what else? The NFL draft. We're not going to talk about that today, but all
I'll say is it's going to be a mess.
Why?
Half these coaches don't know how to work the iPad with all their playbooks on it, and now they have to draft guys online, and someone's probably going to end up thinking they're picking someone else because they're not there physically looking at it. And another thing Scott Van Pelt said is, he'll be sitting in the ESPN broadcast trailer, and he'll look up, and there's a link someone hacked into and sent, and now there's not safe stuff not safe for work stuff up on the screen above him. So now all these people can hack into the draft because everyone's going to be watching it.
Right. No, well, this will be probably the most watched like draft ever because
Yeah.
what else do we have to do? But
Exactly.
no, I'm excited for the draft. I mean, there'll be tech guys helping Bill Belichick.
No,
He's got no clue what he's doing.
It'll work out. It'll just be. It's
Yeah.
definitely, even if it doesn't show, it'll be a mess.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But no, I'm excited.
One of the more stressful drafts.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm excited to talk about next week. We'll talk about some of the. There's some quarterbacks that I like in this draft, and
yeah,
I mean, and wide receivers. There's some guys I like in this draft, but we'll talk about them next week, maybe the week after. Honestly, get real close to the draft and then talk about it. But yeah, hopefully we get some more clarity in the upcoming weeks. Want to talk a little Tom Brady?
Yeah,
what would a behind the dish show be if we didn't talk about Tom?
I don't know. It seems like every week there's something new about him, whether it's him leaving, him thinking that he's going to stay, and now it's him talking to Howard Stern in a supposedly tell-all interview that really he didn't tell much of all until the very end.
But then he told it all. Told everything I wanted, everything I've been wanting to know for years, Ben.
In a little bit, not quite in as depth as I'd wanted, but yeah, there's some eye openers in there.
Yeah, he left out a couple details.
Just a couple of details, but everything just enough for against your mind thinking.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, let's just talk. We'll just talk like the real broad Tom Brady that everybody knows about. Obviously he's on his way out. Shipping down to Florida, and
secured number 12.
Yes. So he got number 12. And he's not paying Chris Godwin any money for it,
which I think is really odd.
Yeah. So I guess Godwin didn't want any money, but like, come on, Tom. Courtesy $500,000 or something.
The Bucks must have said something to him because he was all about keeping number 12.
I know. Well, so the thing is, he's got like a brand around number 12. Like he sells like merchandise, like CG Chris Godwin 12 or whatever. Like,
so does Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Obviously. So now I guess he's just gonna switch everything to Godwin 14 or
yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's odd. I mean, you always hear stories, if not money, you'll give him like a fancy watch or a nice, couple bottles of wicked expensive liquor or something like that.
Yep.
So unless it appears like Tom Brady just got it for free. It's crazy.
Yeah, wait, hold on. So the other thing that I want to talk about, Tom, I mean, obviously the Howard Stern interview is unbelievable and wicked funny, where he was just talking pretty much guys being dudes in the locker room. But we don't have to get into all the details of that. But what I thought is he said in the interview, obviously he's living at Derek Jeter's house. So
yeah, Derek Jeter is his landlord.
Yeah. So Howard asked Tom, he goes, so what happens when you clog the toilet? Do you call your landlord Derek Jeter and have him come unclog it? I love that. I was like, oh my gosh. Imagine Jeter coming in like with his plunger and
that's a hilarious image.
But yeah, no, I was unclear of whether he bought the house or whether he was leasing it.
I think he's leasing it, renting it from Jeter.
Renting, yeah. But which is
he does not want to be stuck down in Florida.
No, exactly. After he's done, he'll be off back to Cali.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just needs 2 years. He doesn't need to buy a house, especially right now.
Real quick, speaking of houses, if you have, I forget what it was. I saw it somewhere the other day. If you have like upwards of $5 million, you can buy Dustin Pedroia's house.
Oh wait, yeah, I saw that too somewhere. He's got like some real notable neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Who are they? Do you remember?
I can't remember. I don't remember.
Some other Boston athletes.
Yeah, they're all near the same neighborhood.
Yep. But yeah, I saw that. That would. I mean, it
might have. I think it was Tom Brady's other house, maybe.
I think it was too, and I feel like Mr. Kraft might have been around there. So I can't remember exactly.
I don't know, but
yeah, no, it piqued my interest, and then I remembered that I didn't have that much money.
Right.
Well, that hurt.
What could be interesting with that though is David Ortiz had something like that. He was selling his house, or and before he sold it, he was having a big yard sale.
So I remember you telling me that. That was awesome.
Pedroia will have a yard sale. Go hit it up.
There'd be some good stuff in that one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, like I assume Ortiz had some good items in there too. But
so let's back to Brady.
Back to Tom. He I mean, he's living life right now. He's in his mansion in Florida with the family.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the family's doing well. I guess they like Florida.
I mean, it's got to be hard to dislike Florida when you're stuck inside Derek Jeter's multi-million-dollar mansion in one of the nicer parts of Florida. It's got to be hard to dislike it then.
Yeah, I mean, his kids are living a tough life.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I'm stuck here talking to you, and they're doing
who knows what with Tom Brady and Giselle.
Oh my gosh, you put it like that. I wasn't even thinking of Giselle. I'm like, imagine Giselle cooking you dinner tonight. What would you do?
She's probably a great mom.
What do the Brazilians eat? Tacos? No, that's Mexico. What do they eat in Brazil? I don't know.
A lot of good stuff.
Oh, Giselle's great. I'm gonna miss her just as much as actually no. There's no one I'll miss as much as Tommy.
Nah. But so interesting. Since we'll segue into missing Tom, apparently, according to this interview, he knew he was leaving from the start of the season last year.
I saw that, which would coincide with like him putting that house on the market early. But and of course, us skeptical or optimistic Pats fans, we were like, "Oh no, he just wants to move to a different place up in New England."
That I found interesting. Another quote that I found interesting. He said, "Legacy does not mean craft to him."
Yeah, that one. Yes, I knew there was stuff we were missing about Tom. We just wrote Brady on the agenda, but I knew. All right, yeah, I saw that too, and I thought I was like, "Come on, Tom! Like he knows he's lying when he says that. He knows it. You play. I don't know if he's lying. You play to have a legacy. You play for a legacy.
Yeah, you'd think so, but I mean, he has to be saying that for a reason. I mean, he said, like, I saw a great point. I mean, everyone was saying him and Belichick didn't have the best relationship. They were together for 20 years. You're bound to have a fight with a friend in 20 years.
Right.
So that part you can almost like throw out the window. And
I think that's all blown up. I think that they had a really good relationship.
Right. So then thinking of that, it kind of like makes me think that maybe he actually doesn't care about a legacy. I mean, I don't know. He had everything he could absolutely want here in New England. I mean, absolutely adored. Walks down the street, he's a legend. Everyone knows who he is, even if they're not a football fan.
It's gonna be that way in Florida, though.
Well,
not to the highest extent that it was.
That's because of the legacy he made.
Right. So who the heck is to say that he doesn't like? You're telling when you win that Super Bowl, is he trying to say that like he not only wants to win, but like that win is really only gonna fulfill his happiness in the moment? Like
no, I mean I think after he said that, he said he'll always cherish and the memories and experiences he'll take with him forever from those Super Bowls and those great seasons. But I guess he doesn't care if other people remember him for that.
I mean, I'm calling BS on that.
Yeah.
You ask Peyton Manning if he asks any other great quarterback who was ahead of him, they'll all say, Tommy, you're gonna. I'm
sure once he retires, he'll have a different take on that. I think it's reasonable to say his mindset right now is just win wherever I am, and he loves challenges. So I guess it makes sense in this mindset, but in reality, I don't see how you can't care about that when you're someone like Tom Brady.
Yep. Ooh, we just got an email from Father Shanley. Oh, no.
I think it's
pass-fail option. It's a pass-fail option.
Oh, Ben. Big news.
We are breaking news to you. This is not sports news. We're going to break this news to you live on air. We get to choose if we want to go pass or fail for our classes at the end of the semester.
Wait, any Oh, no way.
So, the you may exercise the pass-fail option between May 14th and May 20th after the semester has concluded. And
that's interesting. Wait, so if you have a failing
all of your course, you can do any or all of your courses, it says.
I don't get how that works exactly.
That's unbelievable.
So like, what if I have like a 60 in accounting and I choose pass fail? What do I get? A pass or a fail?
You have to look at what the cutoff number is.
It's probably like if it's a pass fail, the cutoff's probably like in like the 50s or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you'll just get a pass. Imagine you just get a pass for it. Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
That's so good. I mean, do we just end the show on like that on non-sports news? Because like we were pretty much wrapping up. I don't even know if that's allowed.
Do we want to talk a little bit more about Tom? Maybe his other comments towards teammates.
What you gotta refresh my mind. I can't even remember all these comments. Like I see them and like I think about them like for a second.
Well, he said he hates the locker room atmosphere and showering with other guys.
Dude, there's no way after the way that he was talking about Gronk's junk. There's no way that he doesn't like that.
You think about what are some of the best times you have with the sports team? It's when you're preparing for the game, all getting dressed together. You're riling each other up and everything. There's no way you don't like the locker atmosphere.
Right. The coaches are out getting ready for the game. They're not in the locker room. It's just you and your guys.
You're pumping the music. Maybe you whip up the gym shorts and slap them on your buddy.
Yeah, you're busting on each other. Yeah, exactly.
You put the belt on. You buckle up the belt on the pants, and all of a sudden you take it off and you start whipping each other.
Yeah, you got the guy who rides the pine over there, rides the bench, and he's getting all the hate. And you're staying loose before the game, or you're celebrating after the game. Don't give me that crap, Tom.
Yeah, and then he goes off, like you said, talking about Gronk's junk. Gronk just walks around naked in the locker room, not towel on his shoulder. He says it's
Imagine being just like some random like camera guy for like ABC Boston and like or NBC Boston or whatever, and like you just walk in the locker room and there's just Gronk naked. Like
it's happened multiple times.
Like what do you do?
I don't know.
Yeah, but no, I mean that was an entertaining interview from Mr. Howard Stern. He should start interviewing more people.
Well, a lot of people don't want to because he is like he asks you the tough questions in that sense.
Yeah,
like he got Tom Brady. He got Brady to admit that in high school he drank and smoked weed.
I saw that.
And Brady was like, "Yeah, I tried it. If it's high school, you got to try it, but I didn't like it. I always felt guilty." And then there's all the memes on Instagram and Twitter of it says like a quote. It's like Brady tried weed in high school. Then you get some random guy running down the hallway, and it's supposed to be Roger Goodell chasing after him.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, no, that interviews like that are awesome. Which a lot of is why I know we enjoyed the Barstool content so much, is because you get a little bit more interviews like that. It's cool.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah, but I think we covered everything we wanted to. We got a great show, I think. So
yeah. I think we've been pushing decent content during during this time.
Definitely have. So in the upcoming weeks, we'll highlight the draft. Maybe we'll do another player highlight like we did last week. We'll come up with a bunch of stuff that we can do. We keep it rolling for you guys.
Yeah, honestly, what I'm hoping that the NBA, the MLB, I hope they make it easy for us and
we'll talk about horse.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe we'll make up some ideas of our own of what competitions we would want to see in any of the leagues.
Yep. So this is going to be coming out on what, Friday the 10th?
Yeah, either later today, April 9th, or tomorrow, early tomorrow, and Friday the 10th. So
yeah, so we were a little late. We were late this week on this show, so
but glad we waited because we got a little more content out of it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if next week we'll wait to this. We might go with one like Tuesday or Wednesday next week.
I think that's what we'll shoot for. We'll shoot for a Tuesday or Wednesday one.
Yeah, all right. But awesome. That's all I got.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you go and listen to it on YouTube and Spotify. Give us a like and a follow. It's been Behind the Dish with me, Ben Bellotti, and Robbie Cannon. Thanks for listening.